Yes, good morning and good evening. I hope you are able to hear me. Can anyone please confirm? Okay, perfect. So from now on, we are going to talk about Azure Data Factory. Until now, whatever we have seen, that is completely the basic that we can say. And without SQL, we cannot work as a data engineer. We need to know, and we are going to work with even SQL also. So, and one more thing, keep in mind, we are not a SQL developers. We don't need like our SQL Server developers. So, but we need to have some idea about SQL. So that is mandatory. So what is the use of this Azure Data Factory? The starting of the sessions I told you, for two reasons we are going to use the SQL Server. One is, we are going to use the Data Factory for two reasons. One is a data ingestion, and second is a data transformation. So when you combine these two items, we can say it is data processing. We can say this is a data processing. So Azure Data Factory is used to process the data. Azure Data Factory is used to process the data. That is what we discussed. Not only Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks also is going to use the process. Azure Data Factory is a code-free ETL tool. We don't require to write a code. We don't require to write a code if we go for the Data Factory. So everything is going to be just drag and drops and clicks we are going to do in order to do transformation or in order to do the processing. So because of that reason, Microsoft is saying Azure Data Factory is a code-free ETL tool or ETL service. So in this particular place, we are going to do the two different activities. One is data ingestion and the other is data transformation. So I'm going to show you how exactly it is going to be there diagrammatically so that you will get better clarity. So in simple word, we can say Azure Data Factory is a ETL service, and where we can extract the data from the various data sources, and we are going to load the data into the target. So here you can see the definition. Azure Data Factory is a cloud-based integration services. Azure Data Factory is a cloud-based integration services that orchestrates and transforms data sources to destinations. That transforms and orchestrates data sources to destination. Okay, so varieties of the data sources. Okay, so from varieties of the data sources and destination, we are going to do it. And our target is always going to be cloud. Now let's come back to here. I just wanted to show diagrammatically. Let's say, for example, I have a data in the database. I have a data in the database. I have a data in the on-prem file system. And I have a data in the ADLS. Let's say, for example, I'm having a DBs here, whatever the DBs it is, and on-prem file system, and this is cloud file system. So these are all the data sources and just imagine. So like this, you may have a multiple data sources even. But I wanted to bring the data from all these data sources. All these things I just wanted to say are data sources. I wanted to say them as data sources. So these are all the data sources. So your data source is this, and what is your target? In the first stage, I told you in the data factory or by using the data factory, we are going to do the two different activities. One is data ingestion and other is data transformation. So first I have to bring the data into the one type of storage the type of the storage here, I wanted to say ADLS. We already talked about what is this ADLS, Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 you can use in order to bring the data. In order to store the data, we are going to use Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. So how we can bring the data from this place to this place? Why we need to bring the data into the Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2? I already told you when I explained about ADLS Gen 2. So Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 is specifically designed for big data processing. It is specifically designed for big data processing. So the storage accelerates your big data workflows. So because of that reason, your underlying data sources may be anything. Your underlying data sources may be anything. That may be Teradata, that may be Oracle, that may be SQL Server, that may be on-prem file system, that may be even cloud file systems. So different kind of clouds. It all depends on your business requirement. We are going to collect the data from the data sources. We are going to collect the data from the data sources by using what? By using Azure Data Factory. By using Azure Data Factory, we are going to do it. ADF, Azure Data Factory. By using this Azure Data Factory, I'm going to extract the data from the various data sources. I'm going to extract the data from the various data sources, and I'm going to feed the data into the target. So the process of taking data from various data sources, that we can call it as a extraction. I'm extracting the data. I am extracting the data from the various data sources without writing the code. If at all, if you are interested to write the code against your database, then there is a chances to write a SQL code when you read the data from here. Okay, so 99% there are people are much more interested to write the code. Even if it comes to me to read the data from the database, 100% I try to use the SQL code. So SQL code is not much difficult. You can just write as joins only. So joins we can directly apply in the database itself. Okay, so depends on the requirement. It is going to be happen company to company or project to project. It slightly it varies. So here by using Azure Data Factory, I'm extracting the data from the various data sources. Once I extract it, then I'm going to feed the data into the ADLS Gen 2. So here I'm just saying this loading. I am not going to apply any transformation here. I'm just directly taking data from the source and just dumping into the storage. Okay, so just dumping. I'm not changing the I'm not changing the state of the data. So just dumping into this particular area. Now, once the data is landed here, and I wanted to say one thing here. Whatever we are talking about this, whatever is there in between this thing we can call this particular part. We can call this as data ingestion. We are just ingesting the data. We are just ingesting the data. I hope everyone is clear for this particular stage. In the first stage, we are going to collect the data from the various data sources, and we are ingesting the data into the Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 for better performance. So because of that reason, if you go for any ADF projects or Databricks projects, we are always going to collect the data from the various data sources, and we are going to keep it in the storage. So this kind of very starting stage of activity that we can say it is data ingestion. We are not touching the data. We're just dumping the data. The process of dumping the data from the various data sources into Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 is known as a data ingestion. Now from here, I wanted to feed the data. Again, I'm just adjusting this window. Let's take a copy of this. This is also same Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 only. This is also Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 only. And I'm trying to bring the data into this particular place. Same to same, I'm just going to use Azure Data Factory. Let's extract the data from the data source and feed the data into the target. And not only that, we are going to do transformation. So 3 things we are going to do. One is extraction. Here also we are going to do. And another is loading also is going to be happen. And transformation also is going to be happen. So in the second stage, I am extracting the data from the Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. And again, I am loading the data into the Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. That may be same account, that may be different account. Okay, so we'll see practically how exactly it is going to be there. The process of taking data from the Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 also is known as extraction. We are extracting the data. We are extracting the data. And in the second stage, we are going to do the transformation. We are going to talk to the data. We are going to save the data as per the business requirement. So whatever the data is there here, same as it is a replica of this data. So we can say it's a raw data. Here we are going to apply transformation to get the shaping. To get the shaping, we are going to do the transformation. So transformation is the process of applying data shaping to the data. And once that is done, then we are going to feed the data into the target. The target here is Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. So this entire thing we can say the second part is data transformation. The second part is data transformation. The first stage we are doing the data ingestion, and the second stage we are doing the data transformation. So here you can say when you combine these 3, we can say extraction, transformation, and loading. But when you combine this one and this one, we can say here we are not loading, we are not doing transformation, extracting, loading, and in the second stage we are applying the transformation. Because of that reason, we can say your Azure Data Factory is a ELT tool, or we can say ETL tool. So this supports for both of the activities, ETL and ELT. So what are doing? We are extracting the data from the various data sources. That is what I'm saying. Azure Data Factory is a cloud-based integration service. So we are integrating the data. Here the data is distributed across the various platforms or various systems. So we are bringing that into the centralized data source. So that means we are integrating the data. The data was distributed in the business. When it comes to in our place, in our environment, the data is centralized. So it is a cloud-based integration services that transforms and orchestrates. So transforms and orchestrates means how exactly we can execute this, the automation. Okay, so which one has to execute first and which one has to execute next, followed by others. So all those things that we can say it is an orchestration between data sources and destinations. Okay, so with different data sources and targets, we are going to do it. That is what we are having it. So simply we can say Azure Data Factory is a cloud-based integration services which is used to extract the data from the various data sources to the Azure Data Lake storage and to by applying transformations. And now I wanted to talk about the building blocks of Data Factory. The building blocks of Data Factory I'm having here. Components or building blocks, both are same. Pipelines, activities, data sets, data flows, link services, and integration runtimes. The six different building blocks of our data factory is available. 6 different are there. Now I'm going to first, let me create a data factory. Then you can see whatever we are having the components here, that we are going to see. So Azure Data Factory is a cloud-based service. So we need to create a service. So how exactly I'm going to create a services? Let's go for Azure resource groups. Let me remove the existed one. Oh my god. This is 7:30 p.m. batch. It happens. Okay. Next time I'll give the name for that. I mean to say the timing also so that I'll get some trigger to avoid deleting. You cannot stop. It's already getting deleted. This one also let me remove. This one has to be supposed to delete. But unfortunately I deleted 7:30 p.m. batch. Just give me 2 minutes. It will be deleted. Okay. So I don't have any services. Everything is deleted. I'm not having any resource to. Now I wanted to create a data factory. So to create a data factory, when you first time creating, just try to search for data factories. So data factories can have data factories. You can create as many data factories as you want. Let's hit on data factories. Plus create. Now I'm going to create a resource group. The resource group is Bhaskar-dev. 7 a.m. I'm just giving. Let's hit OK. And I'm just going to take the data factory name here. ADF Bhaskar 123 I'm taking. This is the name of the data factory. So subscription is required. We already know if you wanted to take any service from the Microsoft Azure, subscription is required. Either it is a free trial or paid subscription. And resource group is required. I'm just creating a resource group while taking the service. We know already that. And instance details, that means service details, I'm just providing. My name of the data factory is ADF Bhaskar 123 is the name of the data factory. From which location you wanted to take the service. So here it is saying East US. I don't want to take East US. I'm just taking my nearest location, that is Central India. Okay, so this options only is more enough. And there is a Git is there. We'll talk about that later. So creation of the data factory is very simple and easy. Let's review directly, review plus create. And hit on create. Now the service is created. Let's go to resource. And once you are there here, it is the service. You can open the data factory in two different ways. Okay, you can open the data factory in two different ways. After creation of data factory, we can open it in two different ways. So creation part we are not going to do. For practicing only we are going to do it. In real time we don't create it. By using portal, we can launch ADF, and by using ADF portal, we can launch ADF. So here we are going to use www.adf.azure.com. This is this one, and here portal is, you know that, www.portal.azure.com. That's all. So both of them I'm going to show you, but in real time, the second option we are going to use. Okay, so someone is going to create a data factory for you, and you're not going to create from your side. Let's hit and launch studio. Then data factory studio is getting opened. Now this is one of the way to open. I'm just opening a tab, and you can see adf.azure.com. Hit enter. Basically, in real time, we are going to use a separate portal. And once you selected this, then it is going to ask what is your entry ID or subscription. I have only one subscription. You may have a access at the time of working more than one subscription also. I have only one data factory. Let's hit on continue to open the data factory. So same to same, there is no change. Now data factory is open. So what we are talking here is, we are talking about building blocks of your data factory. Building blocks of your data factory we are talking. The very first one I'm going to talk is integration runtime. Integration runtime we are going to talk. So what is the purpose of this integration runtime? So basically what you're extracting the data from the various data sources and you're feeding the data into this particular place. So in order to do this work, bringing data from this area to this area or from the underlying data sources to your final target, we required a compute power. So that compute is integration runtimes. Okay, in Data Factory, we used to call them as integration runtimes. So we have a various integration runtimes are there, or 3 different types of integration runtimes we are having it. So integration runtime is nothing but a compute structure. It's a compute used by Azure Data Factory to give integration capabilities across different network environments. It's a compute. That compute is getting used by Azure Data Factory in order to move data from one place to another place and doing the transformation in between data is moving. So that is what the integration runtime. There are 3 different types of integration runtimes. There are 3 types of integration runtimes. Okay, let me do one thing. I'll take this entire thing here itself. Azure Data Factory. It is a cloud-based integration services and building blocks or components. Components of ADLS. Okay, so I'm just talking about integration runtime. So 3 different types of integration runtimes we have. So why we are going to use integration runtime? In order to move the data from one place to another place, we require compute, and that compute is going to be provided by integration runtimes. So in Azure, we are going to have 3 different types of integration runtimes. So 100% there is a more chances to ask in the interview. What are the different types of integration runtimes are there? And what kind of integration runtimes you have used in your project? So this kind of questions there is a more chances to face. So as I said, there are 3 different types of integration runtimes, and first one is Azure integration runtime. When we are going to use Azure integration runtime? Azure IR. It is used to bring data from Azure storages. Azure storages means what? Blob storage, ADLS, Gen 2, Azure SQL Server, Azure Database, Data Warehouse. All these are other storages. So it is used to bring the data from other storages. These are all the other storages. There may be other storages also. And feed and is used to feed data into other storages. So not only for reading, we're also going to use the same thing for feeding also, for loading also. I used to load the data into this. So this is Azure integration runtime. And so when I show you diagrammatically, you can understand how exactly it is going to be there. Let's say, for example, I have a database. I have a database. I have a file system. DB here. This is file system. And I'm just going to keep one more thing, that is Azure Data Warehouse, ADLS. So all these are cloud. All these are the cloud platform. Okay, so if I wanted to read the data from the cloud, if I wanted to read the data from the Azure storage, this is not a other cloud systems. Okay, so this is a Azure storages. These are all the Azure storages. That is what I'm saying. Blob storage, ADLS Gen 2, Azure SQL Server, Azure Database. All these are the Azure storages. So if I wanted to read the data from the Azure storages, and if I wanted to load the data into the Azure storages, this is let's say this is source. And this is target. The target is Azure Data Storages. Okay, so if your source is Azure Storages, then we are going to use what we are using. We are going to use the Data Factory only right here. In between them, we are going to use ADF only. So in order to read the data from this kind of systems, we are going to use what kind of integration runtime? We are going to use here is, we are going to use integration runtime. Sorry, Azure IR. So in order to read the data from the data source, from the Azure data storages, we are going to use Azure integration runtime. And in order to load the data into the destination, we are going to use same Azure integration runtime only. Why? Because my destination is also Azure integration, Azure storages. My destination is also Azure storages. Because of that reason, I'm going to use a runtime called integration runtime. So integration runtime only provides the compute to use by Azure Data Factory. So because of that reason, we are using integration runtime. I hope everyone is clear with this diagram. Now, there is a one more integration runtime, self-hosted integration runtime. So when we can go for self-hosted integration runtime, let me show you here. Self-hosted IR. It is used to bring a data from non-Azure systems and on-prem systems. So it is just to bring the data from non-Azure systems. That means if you have a Amazon or if you have a data in the GCP, so if you have such kind of data sources, then you can go for self-hosted integration runtime. Not only for that, for on-prem systems also, you can use self-hosted integration runtime. Okay, so now let me show you the diagram here. I have a database. But this is not Azure Data Warehouse. So this is the Teradata Data Warehouse, or this is the database you're having. Not only that, I'm going to have a file system. FS I'm taking. It's an on-prem file system. In on-prem also we have a files, right? In on-prem also we have a file system. This is a file system only. Okay, so if you have a data in that areas, in all these places, if you have, then how we can handle it, that I'm just showing here. Okay, this entire thing is data sources. This entire thing is the data sources. But this is on-prem data sources. On-prem storages. So this is not a cloud. If the data source is not a cloud, or if the data source is not a Azure, then definitely we need to use self-hosted integration runtime in order to read them. In order to read them, we are going to use that. Now, my target is same. My target is Azure storages. So, in order to read the data from on-prem, I'm using Azure integration runtime. In order to load the data into the Azure data storages, I'm using Azure integration runtime. So 99% is when you read the data from the on-prem, our target is Azure storages only. Okay, so because of that reason, to store the data into this particular area, we have to use Azure integration runtime. And here it is a self-hosted integration runtime. Self-hosted. So we have to install and configure. We are going to say practically how exactly we are going to have a self-hosted integration runtime so that we can get better clarity. And next I'm having if you remember, I talked about this kind of situation, that is SSIS IR. It is used to execute, it is used to execute SSIS packages in the data factory. We can lift and shift SSIS packages as it is without doing any changes. Into Azure, and then we can execute them with the help of SSISIR. Okay, so this is basically, I don't recommend it to say even practically, because this kind of situation is very, very rare situation. And in the starting of the sessions, why we need to go for the cloud, I explained. If you have a SSIS project, if you are doing migration from SSIS to Azure Data Factory, and if you design or if you redesign the most of the packages into the pipelines, if at all if any package is not yet completed 100%, so those packages we can lift and shift into the data factory and we can execute them as it is without doing any changes. So in that particular case only we are going to use. In my entire experience, I didn't come across anywhere to use SQL Server Integration Services Runtime. Okay, but in the interview there is a chance to ask, so you have to give this answer. That is about integration runtime. So you can see from Azure to Azure, from on-prem to Azure. Okay, so it's not like on-prem to Azure, but in reality, we're always going to use from on-prem to Azure to execute exercise packages from the ADF. Why we're going to use them is it is used to execute your exercise packages with the Data Factory. The next one I'm going to talk about is link services. The first building block we have seen, that is integration runtimes. And second building block. Okay, let me rearrange this orders here. Next is I'm going to talk about link services. And then data sets. And then activities. And then data flows. And then pipeline. Let's go with this order. So we can talk in any order. Okay, so whatever the order I talk, you feel that is the right order. Okay, so this is fine. We have seen here, you're perfectly all right here, self-hosted. These two we are going to use in real time. So keep in mind, and there is a very less chances to use this SSISIR, but in the interview, 100% they're going to ask you. Just right away, if they ask, did you use SSISIR? No, we have not used. We didn't come across it. So we used only these two integration runtimes. 80% of the times we are going to use Azure IR. Rest of the percentage we are going to use self-hosted IR. Okay, now let me talk about the link services. It is used to have connection details of the data source and target. Target we can call here is sync. So those details we are going to have. So let's say, for example, you wanted to move your items. Let's say, for example, packers and movers. So you're working in Chennai, just imagine, or you're working in Hyderabad. I wanted to move from this city to other city. I wanted to move from my current working city to another city. So if that is the case, definitely everyone will go to the packers and movers. So you're going to make a call to them, and when you call, then to get to your location, your data is located here. Okay, your data means your items. Your items is your data. Okay, so in order to come or to collect your items by packers and movers, they are going to ask you what is the address, where exactly you're located. The location details are going to take it. If you don't give the location details to the packers and movers, they cannot come to you. It's highly impossible. So the same kind of example you can see in reality. Everyone may be experienced in different situations. Okay, if you don't know the location to deliver or to collect. So here to collect we require location details. In the same way, the packers and movers also is going to deliver the items, whatever the items you have packed, right? So delivery address is also required. So that details we are going to have, that kind of details we are going to have in the link services. So if we apply same thing to the data is located at some place. So you have to provide the details where exactly the data is located. What is the location of the data? That location of the data is going to have inside the connection details or inside the link services. So link services is going to have the connection details for the data source and connection details for the target. So without link services, you cannot bring the data. You or me, anyone cannot bring the data. So data source details are required if you wanted to go for data reading by using Azure Data Factory. Not only Data Factory, any kind of ETL tool in the market. Either it is a Databricks or Data Factory, SSIS, Informatica, for anything, 100% is we required connection details. So those connection details we are going to have here. There are various connectors to read the data and to load the data. So we can use the connectors in order to connect it. So example, we have Azure SQL, Azure SQL database, and we have Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2, and we have SQL Server database. So like this, we have various connectors. So we are going to say them. So depends on your requirement, we are going to have an integration runtime. There is one point I missed for this is its default integration runtime. In ADF. It comes with ADF while creation. Or let's say it comes with ADF by default. That's all. So we don't require to install it. We don't require to have a Azure integration runtime. So by default, it is going to get it. If you go to the Data Factory again, just go to the manage. Under the manage, we can say there is an integration runtimes. So in integration runtimes, what happened? Did I open right Data Factory? Now it is fine. I thought it is not available. Okay, so now if you see, I have a default integration runtime. I didn't create this. So when we can create it, if it is self-hosted integration runtime, then we are going to install and configure self-hosted integration runtime. But if it is if it is Azure IR, then we don't require to install it. We are going to have an integration runtime. When I go to the link services, I don't have the link services here. You have to create a link services, depends on your requirement. If you try to create a link service, you can say, I have all connectors are there. Not sure how many are there, you can count how many are there. So they categorized, these are all the Azure connectors I'm having to read the data. And database, we're having database connectors. And file related connectors I'm having. You can say Amazon S3, HDFS, Google Cloud Platform, Oracle Cloud Storage. Okay, so Microsoft Fabric Lakehouse. This is the new connector. And file system, generic protocols, HTTPS, REST API, ODBC, NoSQL databases, Cassandra, Mongo, and services and apps. Like this, we have a various connectors. We are going to read depends on your requirement. So connecting to your data source is not much difficult. It's very, very simple. Okay, so you can fail. If you know at least 2 to 3 different connectors, you can bring the data from any of the connector. You can take a help from the Microsoft help file and you can start working on it. So connecting is just like filling the details of your some applications. When you apply or when you create a Naukri account or Gmail account, or the way you used to provide details, in the same way we can provide the details here. So we can see that how simple it is. Okay, so Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2, you can see Azure SQL database is there. Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 is there. Okay, so I'm just giving some link services here. The some connectors I just given here. Now, your packers and movers came to your location. Based on your location details, they came to you. And you're not interested to move all the items. If you're interested to move all the items from your home, they will pack all the items. Okay, so if you're sending only 3 items, then they're going to take only 3 items. So depends on your requirement, they're going to start doing the pack. The process of this packing is there, right? That is like a data. What data you wanted to take? Do you want to take all the data from the data source, or do you want to take only required data from the data source? So that is going to be decided by you only. That means the requirement decides. So taking what is required and what is not required, that we can say it is a data set. What data we required? What data we required, that is going to be treated as a data set. I'm just taking this here. So it is used to represent the data that is required for your pipeline. For your pipeline or for your source or target. So pipeline is going to have a source and target. And whatever the connectors are used to create a link service, same thing, same connector can be used to create a data set. So whatever the connector you have used, the same thing you can use for the data set also. So data set represents the data, the required data. Okay, so the required items they're going to pack depends on the requirement. So that is what the data set I just wanted to say. And once the data set is done, then activities. Let me take the activities here. Okay, so I'm not creating a data set. We are going to see practically in the next session. So it is just to represent a single processing step in the pipeline. I want to copy a file from one place to another place. I want to check is file existed or not. I want to check how many number of columns are there. I want to check what is the size of the file. So that is what the single processing step. So every activity has its own properties. Okay, every activity has its own purpose to use it. So we are going to talk about it. So it is used to represent a single processing step in the pipeline. Okay, so example, getting the size of the file and copying data from one place to another place. What else? Checking folder existence. Like this, there are many activities that we are going to have. Here itself, I wanted to give activity let's say I wanted to say output of activity will be input for another activity. Maybe because some activities are not having, some activities are not going to give the output. Okay, so output of activity may be input for another activity. Example for this is we have a many activities. You can keep this only the generic I'm just giving. And after activity, we have a data flow. It is used to save or transform data between the data source and target based on business requirement. So that is a data flow. This is also activity only. Data flow activity. This is also part of the activity, but it is having a specific purpose because this will be used. I mean, there are various activities are there. Okay, so data flow is also part of your activities. That I wanted to say. And next is what? Let's take the pipeline now. So it is just to represent logical group of activity that performs a unit of work. And Azure Data Factory contains multiple pipelines. Before this, collection of single or collection of activities is known as pipeline. And Azure Data Factory contains multiple pipelines. So when I show it diagrammatically, you can say all this are going to get, you can understand. Let's say, for example, I have a activity 1, activity 2, activity 3, and so on. So this is single processing step. So this is also same. This is also single processing step. And this entire thing is a pipeline. This is one unit of work. This we can call it as a pipeline. Okay, so in Azure Data Factory, you will be having multiple pipelines. And the output of the activity 1 is the input to the activity 2. Output of activity 2 is input to the activity 3. Okay, the output of the activity pipeline 1 is going to be input to the pipeline 2 also. Okay, so we are going to say pipeline inside a pipeline. Okay, so practically we are going to come across it. So this is a pipeline. Now, if you wanted to run this then definitely we required a trigger. Okay, so control flow is also there. Control flow, basically, I don't think they will ask what is the control flow. So simple control flow means we are going to control the flow of execution, orchestration. So if you have too many activities like this, you have to decide which activity we need to execute first and which activity we need to execute next. That is what the flow of control or control flow. It is used to control the execution flow of the pipeline activities. And then to run this entire thing, you set up everything, which one will go first and which one will go next. And that we can say we can do run with the help of trigger. With the help of trigger, we are going to run it. Now, if you can go to the data factory, I'm just closing this. If you go to the author, in the author, we have a data set. We are going to hit a new data set. You can say same connectors you can use, whatever the connectors you have used for link services, the same connectors you can use for a data set. That is one thing. And we have a data flows here, Power Query, and a change data capture is out of the content for us. It's under the preview. And we have a pipelines. The pipelines, when you create a pipeline, you can see once you create a pipeline, then only you can see the activities here. There are various activities are there. We are going to come and see as per the content, whatever we are going to given, all those things. More than that, I'm trying to cover more scenarios and more details. Okay, so here I didn't touch anything practically. In the next session, we are going to see the practical sessions. So this is very important, how exactly your data factory is having behind the scene. Okay, so I'm stopping here. Let me take the questions if you have a questions. You can unmute yourself and ask a question if you have a question.
Yeah, that's it. Again.
Yeah, please tell me.
Yeah, actually, what is the difference between pipeline and dynamic pipeline?
We'll see that practically. We are going to see. We are going to come across it. So pipeline means if it is for only one purpose, like say similar kind of activities we'll have it. If we create a plan for each and every task, then that is a static pipeline. But for all together, if you create a one pipeline, then it is a dynamic pipeline. So in dynamic SQL code, if you are aware of it, reusability or not even reusability, we can say here. The purpose will be for everyone. We'll see that practically can feel what is dynamic pipeline. That is not existed physically. Okay. So we are going to provide the solution dynamically. Okay. Yeah, Veeran, any question?
Yeah, I have two questions. Like, so CDC we're not going to touch here.
We are not going to touch. That is out of the boundary. We are going to see that kind of approach in different approach.
Okay, and one more thing. So here, okay, here also you're going to cover like one pipeline used for many of the environments, like let's say dev, QA, and production likewise. So that's also going to show. Suppose I have created one pipeline in the dev. Okay, so that will be converted. How we can convert that into QA? That is also going to show, right, in the upcoming sessions.
Basically that is Azure DevOps team will take care to move the code from lower environment to higher environment. Because in our case, it is a little difficult to show, but I'll try to give the explanation. Okay, if at all, if I have a feasibility to show, because I need to have some DevOps knowledge also. Okay, so here basically as we are going to work as a data engineer, we are going to bring the code up to the repository. So once the code is landed in the repository, in collaboration branch. Then from there, DevOps team will move the code into the QA, and from QA to from that environment to prod by creating a DevOps pipelines. They are going to do it. So I need to look into that. If you wanted to give that practical, it's not success.
Okay, sir. Sure, we'll take it forward.
But I'll try to give the details.
So thank you.
Yeah. And the note also, someone is asking note. So please get an access for the classroom. If you have a classroom access, then you are going to get the material. If you don't have access to the classroom, then you cannot get it. So check with admin team to have the access for classroom, Google Classroom. Okay. Yeah, please. Any question? Oh. Yeah, Venkata, if you have a question, you can ask. Okay, so I hope you are following with me. If at all, if you need little slow or if you're having any problem, please. Triggering methods are there. We have a schedule, event, and tumbling window, but mostly we are going to use schedule-based triggers. Okay, we'll talk about that.
Bhaskar, can you hear me?
We'll talk about those details.
Hello,
Yeah,
Bhaskar, can you hear me? Yeah, see, actually,
Yes.
yeah, I would like to know about integration runtimes a bit more.
What do you want?
Integration runtimes. So, are we creating integration runtimes, or see, for example, I'm the developer, okay? So, I'm going to create integration runtimes, or it will be created by some admin team.
So let me say something like this. So this Azure IR will come default. We don't need to create it. That is one thing. So one is completed. The second one is self-hosted. Okay, so basically admin team will configure it. We are not going to do it. But if at all, if you wanted to do it, you can do it. If it is a very small company, and if they're not aware of how to set it up, they will have access to install, but they don't know how to set up. So in the sessions, we are going to say, and you can guide them what you can do it. So in that way, we can help them, or even if you're not aware of it, that is their headache. They will get to know how we can create a self-hosted integration runtime. They will connect to the Microsoft support team. They will take a support and they will set it up. Okay, if you're not aware of it, because we are not responsible for that. Okay, so if you are aware of it, yes, let's try. You can, since we are going to take training here, right? So you know how we can install, how we can do it. So we can help them to set it up. But basically, this is not our job.
So without integration runtimes, we can't process any data, right? Even from source, even from target.
No.
So, see, as you mentioned, right, if it is a source is different and the target is different, so we need to configure the integration runtimes accordingly, right?
Yes. This one we need to install and configure. But this one is not required. Azure IR is not required. Only this only we are going to see. And SSIS are also we need to configure. Again, this is very dangerous service. Even don't go for practice.
Okay. And also last one question. See, so now we are dealing with only Azure, right? So are we going to use any databases like external out of Azure,
Yes.
like Teradata?
We are going to say SQL Server, and I have a PostgreSQL. I'll try to show the PostgreSQL.
No, that I understood. But see, if for example, if I am working with project, so that project requirement is like that tables are exist in the some external databases,
Yes.
like Teradata, which are not available in the Azure. Is it possible?
100% is.
Oh, out of Azure, see, Azure will not
Your
provide
underlying data, say, your underlying data sources may be something else. You're getting my point.
Yeah, but see,
why people are using Oracle?
Okay.
Definitely, there are many people are having the data sources to store their data. So it doesn't mean that everyone has to use only Azure storages to store the data. Application databases may be different.
Okay, but here I have one doubt. Okay,
Okay.
so anyway, we are going to create a this linked services. Okay, if I want to get data from any database or any storage, we need to create a linked services, right?
Yes,
But
that is true.
my for example, I want to create a linked service which database is not present in the Azure portal.
We are
In
going
that
to
case,
see that.
oh, is it possible?
100% is possible. Data is existed. Even in my project, they have a data in the Teradata. From there, we
Okay,
are
but
taking.
Teradata is not going to provided by Azure, but still
No.
we can process.
Yes, we can take data from there. So it's the same like it's an integration service. This service can take the data from anywhere. They are given the connectors. They are still adding continuously connectors. If I go to here, there are multiple connectors out there. Even from SAP also we can bring it.
Yeah. So here, right? Can you please type which is not provided by Azure here?
These are all not provided by Azure, right?
But here it is available, right?
No. These are all connectors now. Not a platform. Platform is sitting somewhere.
Okay, so if we have a connectors, then we can create a linked services and we can
Yes.
connect with
Yes.
that specific DB, right?
Exactly. No. Not creating a database. We are reading the data from there.
Yes, we are reading by using this linked services only, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
This is on-prem. Okay.
Yeah, so we are going to connect on-premise and we are pulling into
yes.
our cloud.
DB2. If I select this one, it is going to ask what are the details? What is the integration runtime? What is the server? What are the details? All those details we need to provide. But this DB2 is not part of your Azure. It is there somewhere else. We are connecting to that with server details.
Okay, but it is maintained by some on-premises, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, while doing practically,
Yeah, you'll get it. So simple data, underlying data source is not in our premises. That will be somewhere else. We don't know where exactly. Depends on their project, they may have it. So from there we have to bring it.
okay. But most probably we should work with Azure IR only, right?
Yes, mostly.
So you already suggested like if we want to use self-hosted means we should install something.
Yes. We are going to see that.
Okay,
So
okay.
everything we are going to see practically except this SSISR because this is very dangerous service. The cost is very huge. So just for knowledge, in my experience, I didn't come across anywhere to use this. But if you want to explore, you can try from your side. But practically, we are going to see SSI self-hosted and Azure IR.
Okay. Bhaskar, when we are going to create a subscription?
We can create now. I already explained how we can create a subscription. You can make it. You can make it. So from tomorrow, we are going to say completely Data Factory practical sessions.
Okay.
So tomorrow we can
so okay, so if I create a subscription, so last time you have installed that MS SQL server, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that we can we connect to that database as well?
That is what the main intention. We are going to connect to that.
But we didn't create it in Azure, right? Just to install in our machine.
That is on-prem. It's like a same DB2 or any other databases.
Okay.
See, Microsoft is having SQL Server in on-prem. Cloud came just recently 10 years ago. Previously, from 2000 onwards, SQL Server existed in the market.
Okay. And also one thing like actually I didn't install the SQL Server. So I think last time I already noted this point to you. Can you please prepare documentation so we can install accordingly?
I'll do that.
Okay. So you can create the document. So we will try to get access to this classroom book. We'll contact you admin.
Yeah. I I'll do that in couple of days. In my
Oh.
system only, I have to uninstall and do installation. I'll take a snips and give it so that it will be easy.
Yeah, it will, even for you also, for next batch also, it will be easy to share.
Yeah.
If you share the document, it will
Yes.
be easy.
Yes, we'll do that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you, Bhaskar.
Yeah.
Bhaskar, do you remember me? First day I came on offline.
Yeah. I remember.
Yeah,
You
anyone
talked to
coming?
me.
Anyone
No,
coming in
no,
offline?
no offline. It converted into online.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay, Bhaskar.
Okay, then we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, hi sir.
Yeah, please.
How are you?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm doing good.
I have an issue when I'm installing SQL Server, I have
Mhm.
mentioned in the first section, I
Yeah.
also shared my screen and go through the flow, right?
Yeah, right. I remember.
Yeah, what I did is I tried uninstalling all the viruses from my system, and
Antivirus.
again I tried reinstalling it, but
Okay.
still it is showing the same error to me. Like, I don't know what might be the reason for that. And also what I did,
It may be operating system issue.
okay, then how can I resolve that?
First, we
Do
need
you
to
have
check
any?
we have to like if there is any Windows updates or anything, just make sure to get it done. So then only we
Yeah,
can
I
try.
checked those and I have done, I guess, previously, but still I'm
So
facing that.
definitely that is operating system related stuff. Okay, so we'll
It's
try
saying
and
that some database engine failed, right? Like, is there anything like any logs or anything like that in the programming files or like that? I don't know.
Need to check. We'll do one thing on the next Saturday. We are going to have a session, right? We'll see on the Saturday.
Okay.
Okay. So the persons who are having installation issues will try, but I cannot give guarantee if it is operating system related stuff. Let's see. But I'll try to make it help.
It is like I am trying this from a month, not a month. Like, I am trying from 2 months. Like, I sat and I did some other things. Like, I checked in the YouTube and
Which OS we are having? Windows 10 only, right?
yeah.
Windows 10 or 11?
Yeah, I think it's 11. I guess, like, I bought this laptop recently.
Okay, then
Like,
it's a new laptop only. Okay.
yeah.
Sir, good morning, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah, very good morning.
Good morning, sir. I am Abhinandan Joshi.
Yeah,
I have completed 1 year of internship in data scientist, sir, as a data scientist.
mm-hmm.
So I wanted to learn this data engineering course.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the fundamentals I know, sir, like building means we have got some knowledge on building storage accounts, networking, something like that
Mm-hmm.
in Azure only.
Okay.
But I am not well versed in that.
We don't need that. We just ignore that. Concentrate on the data factory. Today only it is started, right?
Yes, sir.
You are
Today I
able
have
to
joined actually.
Yeah.
Today only started, sir.
Azure Data Factory is today only started.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
I'll
so
start this
you are
only.
able to follow, right? We are going to see all these things practically. Okay,
Okay,
so
sir.
I'm just giving the building details about the building blocks.
Okay, sir. I'll
Okay.
check out the recording sessions
Yeah.
from
So
classroom.
those are all the basics to understand this data factory. Okay, but like few of them is not even data factory, like the SQL stuff also we talked. So go through them, but concentrate on from today's session is very important for everyone because this is the main service that we are going to work.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir. Can I cope up with this, sir?
definitely you can. You can.
Okay.
Yeah,
If not,
Karan,
I'll ask you.
yeah, definitely we can. Okay, so you can feel even if you go through the previous sessions, and even if you didn't attend those sessions, not a problem. You can easily pick up with the data factory because we are going to work with the data factory. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and
Bhaskar?
yeah.
In how many days you are going to complete this Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks?
Basically, I need 60 days total.
No, I understood the course duration.
Mhm.
Coming to the specific ADF.
Specific ADF, it goes more 20 days.
Okay, 20 days. And the Databricks?
Databricks also is more or less same.
Okay. Okay, yeah, just to know the days.
Yeah, it may go increase. I cannot say exactly same number of days because
Okay.
sometimes it varies.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so if it is taking longer time, I need to say sometimes I will extend the sessions. Okay, like Saturday, we will be having a time break. If there is no questions, then I will take a session there.
Okay.
Okay, then we are going to say practically. So tomorrow's session is very important, guys. So if you can understand tomorrow's session, more or less same kind of situations we are going to come across in all the sessions. Okay, then I'm stopping here. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining.